Okay, so welcome again. So this is what we are going to do tonight. So we're going to introduce who we are and why we're doing this workshop together. And also we are having a lot of fun games to play together and also in breakout rooms in some groups. And we are going to explore uncertainty. Oh, okay. Let me explain. Introduce topic tonight. So the topic of this workshop is embracing uncertainty. Okay, so we are going to talk and play a lot with uncertainty tonight. And we're going to explore uncertainty and we're going to experience collective creativity all together. And we're going to do a lot of reflection in groups and also as the whole group. And then we're going to close this workshop with introducing what's happening next. So I would like to give the floor to one of my beautiful playmates, Hikaru, and she is going to explain who we are. Okay.
And Hikaru, I think some people were asking if we are recording, could not tell. So the recording is going, correct?
Yeah, the
Okay,
recording
great.
is going, and I'm going to download the recording into my YouTube, and then I will set it up, and I will send to everybody who is here,
Mhm.
unlisted on YouTube. So, by the way, my name is Hikaru, or some people call me Lou, and I live in Tokyo as well. And thank you very much for coming to this wonderful, beautiful, and surprising play shop. And 20 years ago, 21 years ago, I bumped into improvisation. And I thought, oh, this is a tool that I can use to save the world, to make the world a better place. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and then start my own business with Yes and then because I have been in the education field and I'm a professor now, and I thought, okay, I can use ESN to my students as well as in the education field. And then I thought, okay, we need to change the education system in Japan. So I started saying that about, I don't know, more than 10 years ago. And I've been saying that all the time. And I thought I'm an activist, only one in Japan. But when I started saying that, I met the people all around the world saying, like, yes, we need to change the education system anywhere, everywhere in the world. So I thought, okay, we need to make a community. You're not the only one.
Mhm.
So then last year, I started working or playing with Global Play Brigade. And I proposed we need to make an educator salon because there are so many activist educators who uses improvisation to change the education system or to to make the world a better place. So Global Play Brigade Educator Salon is the place and is the community to share the issues or share the best practice sometimes and share all the fun games to be able to use in a workplace, in an education field. So if anybody is interested, please come and join us. So there is another beautiful, wonderful is and higher education, and I'm so interested, and I'm so willing to be there too. So, Sue, I'm passing the ball. You are muted.
Welcome, everybody. It's nice to see everybody here. And whether it is your evening, your morning, or your afternoon, I'm coming in from Singapore, where it is 9 o'clock at night. So it's evening for me. So Yes and Higher Education Network is part of the Eastside Institute, okay? The Eastside Institute has been around for more than 40 years and has been creating radically humanistic approaches to psychology, to education, to healthcare, and to community building. We believe that people are social performers and creators. And two of the cornerstones of our work are social therapy, which is a group-oriented therapeutic approach, and performance activism. So we do trainings, we do a lot of group work, we help develop and support social and performance activists around the world. We have an international class where people come together to to support their development and growth and using many different kinds of tools like improv and building and performance activism in their work. We also have a biannual conference that we do called Performing the World, which is fantastic, and then a number of other programs. We also have a wonderful podcast, which I want to invite everybody to listen to, called All Power to the Developing. The Yes and Higher Ed Network is an interdisciplinary learning lab for educators at all levels. So it says higher ed, but we have people that are teaching grade school, high school, community programs, and higher ed. The commonality is that we use performance and play and improv in our classrooms to create community and to create new kinds of learning environments. You'll be later on in this workshop, we are playing yes and, so you'll get an experience of what is yes and, what is improv, and why we think it's so important for creating different kinds of and new and better learning environments. So I welcome all of you to the to this evening, to this day, and invite you to also learn about Global Play Brigade, YAHE, and all the work that we're doing. I'm not sure who I'm passing it on to.
Eric.
Fun. Eric.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. And I'll allow Mamiko to share the screen for this activity that we're gonna do. So the thing about improvisation is you do things through games and through play, obviously. And so we'd like to have everybody kind of join in a brief game with us. We're very simple. We just simply need your name, and we would like for you to express an emotion with a gesture that reads on the screen. If you gesture with your toes, that's awesome, but we might not see that. So one of the things I am going to recommend and give a prompt to, and Mamiko, if you want to move to the next slide that has the sort of specific instructions. You're going to call out your name. You're going to express how you are feeling with gesture and sound. That can be how you feel in general right now at this moment. And I would encourage you to consider expressing an emotion that you have towards uncertainty. Coming into this, what does uncertainty feel to you, right? What is being in that state of uncertainty feel like, and how would you express that with a gesture or sound? So as an example, I'll do one where I say, "Hi, I'm Eric." And there you go. At which point I would invite everyone to imitate just the sound and the motion.
Why don't we take down the slide now so we can see?
Yes. Thank you all so much. I love
Thank
to
you.
play with you.
Yeah, wonderful.
That was
Thank you,
beautiful.
Eric. I'm Gwen Lowenheim, and we'll get a chance to reflect on everything we've done so far and more as we go along. So we want to just give you a little bit of a little bit about the workshop and some concepts for us to play around with. So I'm right, Mamiko, right? I'm speaking at the right time. So I'm with the Yes and Higher Ed Network of the Eastside Institute and with the Global Play Brigade, Educator Salon. So my life is great. Okay, so it's actually wonderful to be here as part of this glorious Learning Planet Festival. It's if you just sort of take in, check out what everybody's doing, some of these assemblies, and you get a sense of what's brewing around the world. One of the many networks now that are growing of creative possibilities for our world. So very happy to be here. And the theme of it is learning to take care of oneself, others, and the planet is the theme of the whole festival. And that's so supportive of what it is that we are doing here today. So our workshop, Embrace Uncertainty and Tap into Collective Creativity. So many of us agree that given the uncertainty of our world, the challenges of our lives, the economies in our countries, poverty, lack of democracy, war, it's having a huge impact on our lives, all of our lives, young and old. And they're all happening side by side with the emergence of new possibilities, right? Like we're all here together today is because they're of these new possibilities. And like I mentioned before, Learning Planet, Catalyst 2030, many, like hundreds of different organizations and more around the world that are creating new possibilities. So young people and adults, we believe, would benefit greatly from learning how to embrace and deal skillfully with what's not expected, right? We're taught more to know what's expected and to do that. But as Hikaru shared about improvisation, the more skilled we are at dealing with the unexpected, we can make more use of new opportunities and the challenges that they pose. So in other words, we need to be creative. And I think collectively creative, build community, as Hikaru said too, so that we're not doing that alone. It's much harder to embrace uncertainty when you feel, oh, how am I going to do that? Like, do you know? But it's in improvisation, it's very different when you're doing that as an ensemble, like we just did, like we just started to create our ensemble. There's also agreement that the standards-based learning and pedagogy in schools around the world, which focus on knowing and measuring knowing and evaluating knowing, that dominates most of our schools, is not conducive to cultivating creativity and often contributes to emotional distress. So I want to give you a little example of some of what this might, a way we can picture this. So adults, teachers, parents, all sorts of adults, we have been cast, if you think of like getting cast in a movie, we're cast in roles that were written for the world as it was. Okay? Yet we're supposed to teach kids how the world is. Like parents, we're expected to act as we've got it all together. And oh my God, as a parent, you so don't have it all together. And now as a grandparent, I more don't have it all together. And a lot of pressure it puts on us, also emotional distress, that we have to look like we have it all together or we know what's going on in the world. So picture this. It would be as if we had all, as adults, learned to swim in a small, shallow pool, and now we suddenly find ourselves in the middle of the ocean. And we're trying to tell a young person who's been swimming in that ocean for the last 10 or 14 years how to swim. Okay? So we're used to that little kiddie pool, but we're in the ocean along with the young people who have some more agility in that ocean. So sometimes it turns out that our very expertise as, adults places limits on our continued growth, especially under challenging conditions. So I'm going to wrap up pretty quickly here, but my timekeepers can tell me if I have to. So we need to reinitiate creativity for our students, teachers, in and out of schools all over the world, shift our focus to the activity of human beings, creating environments in which we can go beyond ourselves. It allows educators, students alike to create the kinds of tools necessary to seize opportunities and create new possibilities with uncertainty. Doing that together bridges the notion that there's a gap between emotion and cognition. Like, where is that? Cognition here, emotion there. But that we're all sort of much more fluid than that and need support to be able to express and be part of a world that's full of uncertainty. And that's where the mental health component comes in. If we are, imagine if you were young people are learning along with us how to create environments, create relationships, build community, how much that can change the impact of the very distressing things and also the joy and the possibilities that they can take advantage of. So we're going to play together today, continue to play together and create a new ensemble here. And we'll be uncertain together and try some new tools. And we hope that we can continue to do that with you. And I want to end this little part by just offering something a close colleague of ours in the SN Higher Ed Network, Anna Santucci, who couldn't be here, but she teaches, she's a professor and runs a program in a university in Ireland. She just had some words, so I want to share them. She said, from us doing work on these issues for a while, we have a shared desire and urgency to make some noise and share with communities around the world our feelings on how performance, play, and creativity can offer crucial ways and spaces to cope with, resist, and developmentally unlearn damagingly decisive mind, body, emotion mindsets, okay? To challenge the mind, body, and planet, I'll put in there. Mind, body, emotion, us versus the other, person versus planet. That's so hurtful for people. And impedes our flourishing potential. Then she says, if not us to take this on, if not us, who? And if not now, when? Okay, that's it. Thank you. And any thoughts you have about this? We'll continue to explore these issues in our activities and our conversations and our reflection. So I believe now Hikaru.
Thank you, Gwen. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
And now, by the way, have you ever seen Panda Bear? Okay, good. Yeah, Panda Bear is so cute, but it's a bear, you know. And the Panda Bear eats bamboos. And do you know why Panda Bear eats bamboos? Panda Bear eats bamboos all day, every day to survive. Um, well, the reason why Panda Bear, eats bamboos is because of bamboosha. Yeah. Everybody can be, Panda Bears. So the reason why Panda Bears eat bamboos are because they avoid, they travel to Far East to avoid fighting over food. So they choose to eat bamboos because nobody likes to eat bamboos. That's why they decided to eat bamboos. Now, Japan. We just had a big earthquake in Japan on the New Year's Day. And we live on a volcano island. And we also traveled from, like, our ancestors, long, long, long time ago, from Africa. The ancestors traveled from Africa to Far East to avoid fighting over food, to, and then they found the island, which is a volcano. That's why it's uncertain, unstable. But because of that, you know, our ancestors are, like, had to survive on the mind of yes and. Whatever happens, they accept it. And then they start to build again. Whatever happened, and then accept it, and then build again. So our ancestors have been living like that. And I'm so proud to be Japanese because our mind is like, whatever happens, we accept it, feel calm, and then, like, connect with other people and harmonize and help each other and support each other instead of fight over food, fight over money. So I think we Japanese are very yes and people. So so we are so proud to be the part of this community, and then build this community to um to support the world, to support the people by the mind of yes and to build a beautiful future and beautiful world. Thank you. So, passing the ball to Mamiko.
Thank you very much, Hikaru. And I really appreciate how you shared like our historical and cultural aspects of the community. And yes, I am very proud of being Japanese too, as you said. Well, thank you very much for your beautiful speech. Okay, so now it's time to play all together again. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Oh, yes. When do you want to say anything? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I have a question. I wonder if we want to take a moment now and have people just share any responses to what we've done so far, right? Love to hear how you're responding, how you're feeling. And there's an old friend of mine, Esmond, who just came in. Hi, Esmond. And yeah, so why don't we do that for a little bit? People can write in the chat, speak. But what are you thinking? What are your response to what we just spoke, the games we played? Okay, we'll just all right, maybe not see them as separate. It's like continuing to explore and create. But please keep putting stuff in the chat and bring your thoughts and questions. Okay, so I believe Susan Hilliard is up.
Hello. Okay, Mamiko, are you going to explain?
I am going to give, yes, I'm going to explain what we're going to do next. So, well, thank you so much for wonderful, beautiful insights and reflections. And now we are ready to explore more uncertainty all together with Susan. Yay! Okay.
Yay, Susan!
Yay!
Okay, everybody, would you like to run and get yourself a piece of paper if you haven't got one there, and get a marker if you've got one, or any kind of drawing implement? The thicker, the darker, the better. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3 to get yourselves organized, and off we go. So you've got your pen and your paper, and I want you to all put your paper on your head. You can put it portrait or landscape. You know, I'm dyslexic, so I always get it the wrong way around. And I want you to take your marker and take the top off it. And I want you to look at your face on the screen. And I want you to draw a self-portrait on your piece of paper. Are you all ready? Then off we go.
Let's look at each other now. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would like to ask you now, in terms of what we're thinking about today, embracing uncertainty, how did you feel when I started introducing the activity? And how did you feel when I noticed that all of you did what I said, which was very nice. Nobody said, no, I'm not going to do it because I've never done this before and I don't know what it's going to feel like. Everybody was willing to join in. So this is the yes and that we have in improvisation. So I would like somebody to tell us how they felt. Oh, hello, we've got a new visitor today. Is this our youngest?
Hello.
Hello. I don't know your name, but pleased to have you here with us. So would anybody like to say what they felt? Anybody want to volunteer?
Weird.
Okay, Jen, could you expand on that a little bit?
Intrigued.
Intrigued. Ah, okay. Weird, intrigued. This is what happens when we first step into uncertainty or when we are thrown into uncertainty. Anybody else like to tell us what they felt, or put it in the chat if you'd like to? Breathe.
I was
Great.
amused. I was amused because I felt safe. I don't know how I would have felt if I had been in a different environment.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. That's very important. And it's lovely to hear it as well, Claudia, because I think in the Global Play Brigade and in YAHE, we try to get people to feel safe by building the community at the beginning. And I hope that's what we've been able to do for you today. Anybody else have any other emotions?
Yes, I mean, I was just like going with the flow, and I knew that it's not gonna be perfect, but I was still okay with that because at least I took the first step and I got out of my comfort zone and I actually did it instead of just hesitating and saying no. I just said yes and. So yeah.
Great. Thank you, Pooja. Thanks for that. Anybody else? One more?
I was disturbed that I couldn't tell which was up or down. Like that's why I said I think my hair just should have been this way, but it was like getting all over what was supposed to be my face. I just could not tell what I was doing there.
Thank you, Toss. Yes, we're working, playing together, playing around with the idea of our play shop today. And people are saying things, lovely things in the chat box: weird, intrigued, silly, amused, confused, wary, said Nancy, happy, excited, happiness. Seeing everyone else do it made me feel like I'm part of a community. I was just laughing and wondering, where did the idea come from? I can tell you where the idea came from. I am dyslexic and I want to spread the word around the world, what it feels like to be a dyslexic, because nobody understands if you're not dyslexic. And we suffer every day of our lives because people don't understand how we are different and how we make mistakes all the time. And I was thinking, how can I get people to understand how we feel? And this is how I came up with this idea that we dyslexics go into situations every single day with total uncertainty because we don't know if we're going left or right. We don't know if a 6 is really a 9. We don't know if 23 is really 32. And when we go to the bank, we cannot remember our PIN number and all the numbers jump around on that little keyboard and you go into panic. And when you're in panic mode, you cannot do anything. It's like your brain shuts off. And I experience that every single day of my life, but other people don't understand it. But we are very creative. We think of things like this to do. Okay, I think I'll pass on now to Jen. And thank you all for taking part so wonderfully. Thank you for building our community even more today?
Jen, I just had a thought before we pass it on from this conversation, is that I think it was what Toss was saying about doing it together and how that was different. And I realized that's so key, that to create an environment where we all can make fools of ourselves, we all look ridiculous, and we'll be there for each other. You know, we make each other look good by doing that. So I love that so much. And I think that's so important for learning environments, that
I
we're
think
all going to
there's
make
this,
fools.
I think
Rick?
there's this lovely sense of we're all with the same ability level with that kind of out of the, crazy thing. And we find that when we are in the same ability level working on something with other people,
And
that
kids.
makes for more joy in the process, as opposed to being, with someone who is, trying to play chess with a, master chess player who's just going to destroy you every single game.
Rick?
Yeah, I wanted to just add, I love the idea that we could embrace the idea that we're all foolish together, because that means we can also embrace the idea that we're all geniuses. We're artists now. We're all artists. We're a community of genius artists. Just because if we can embrace one, we should be able to embrace the other.
It's always an honor to follow you, a brilliant educator of educators and fellow dyslexic. So I'm really excited to be here and play with everyone a classic improvisational game that many of you maybe have played before, the yes and creating a collective story. So I'd like everyone to go off mute if you're able to, because we're all going to now participate in creating a story. And I took the liberty of giving us a title. And the title, as you see in the chat, is Uncertainty, a World of Adventure and as many emotions as I could find. So when we are creating a collective story using yes and format, what we're doing is listening, being present, and as we are talking about today, completely embracing uncertainty. And the way we do that joyfully is to focus on the ensemble, not me. We, not me. So you do not have to worry about saying the most clever thing or being funny or even making sense. So the first person is going to start with a sentence, and the next person next to them, like Mamiko's going to start, and then Hikaru's going to follow. And Mamiko is going to say a sentence starting off our story. Hikaru is going to follow with the words yes and then offering one short sentence. And then Sue will follow, and Naboku, and then Susan, and then me and Gwen, until we finish our story with Angel. So Angel, I hope you're there and ready. If everyone can go off mute and come into the world and the land of the adventure and uncertainty by listening, being present, and building with what the person before you just gave. So welcome to our story, Uncertainty, a World of Adventure. Mamiko, give us the first sentence.
But yeah, let's hear from people again in the chat, and those really talented timekeepers, the ones who have like clocks in their heads, will to kind of check in about how long we should go with this conversation, okay? And then we can decide if we want to keep or yeah. So what were people's responses? How was that? Yeah.
And also, we just realized I didn't see Tohi, welcome. I didn't see the second page.
Heartwarming.
Oh, I see. Right.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks.
Hi, Tohei. Welcome.
Hello.
Anybody can talk or
Sure.
type words in chat. Yes.
Yeah, so I have some feedback. I think it's lovely to participate in an activity where instead of worrying about the outcome, we're able to, consider what the other person is saying, why they might be saying it, trying to connect to somebody else's, emotional output, instead of thinking of reasons why we shouldn't, should just wholeheartedly jump in and say yes and try to add to and try to understand. It's less important about what comes out of that, and I feel like it's more important to continue to try to figure out how to work that muscle to try to understand the other people that are around us and try to connect with their hearts and smell with their hearts.
I love that, Rick.
For me, this exercise really taught me to actually slow down in my thinking rather than just having that assumption. And even if I assume something else was coming up, and I was like, okay, so this could also be another way where we can actually continue the story and go ahead.
Can I say something? For me, it was really interesting because at the beginning, I had no idea where this was going on and where this was going to end. And it taught me how beautiful it is when a group of people are connected and they're all in the same page, but in their own specific way. So knowing that it could go in any direction and then the opposite direction, and then having to adjust to it in a fun way. But it's interesting and it's very nice how in the end it all makes sense. So it's very nice.
Yeah, Alessandra, that makes me think, maybe it partly makes sense because we're creating the meaning.
Yeah.
Right. And just what you said made me think of what Wendy brought up before. I think the way that Alessandra just spoke about that, well, you said it so well. I don't know if I want to say it again, but that we could take, even if we didn't know where it's going or it didn't make sense, we kept creating with it. And that could be a wonderful activity to do with people who seem to not agree with each other.
Yes, what would life look like if we all started every sentence with yes and? Maybe we'll experiment and try that the rest of the day and throughout the other workshops and see what we discover.
We do want to bring this out. I appreciate that, Jen, because there's so many people at Learning Planet doing wonderful things, and this tool could be so add to their whole repertoire. So yeah. Good. Thank you, everybody. Anything else? All right. So time-wise, I'll tell you what we're going to do next. And then anybody who thinks that's not possible will tell me. I'm wondering, actually, now that I'm saying that, I love that people joined when they could, and hopefully there was no confusion around the time zone stuff. But I wonder, I'm asking Mamiko and Hikaru, if we might stay together to create our new emotion.
All together, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, right? Because of the time.
Yep. We should definitely play this next game all together because this is beautiful already. Like we created such a beautiful moment and ensemble together already. So I think we can do it as a whole group.
Okay, and then we could reflect on the totality, and then we maybe could ask our specific questions, right?
Yeah, we can also use chat.
And we can use chat, yeah. So what we want to do here is to we've been doing it in a way, but to support our ability to challenge when we're sort of being told that there's a way to feel, a right way to feel, a wrong way to feel. It makes me upset even just saying those words, to think that there's a wrong way to feel. You think about how many people around this world now are grieving in different kinds of ways because of such tremendous loss. That if we were able to be part of that and open to that, you know, no matter where they were, the impact that that could have. So we want to just not be told how to feel, and as in terms of as educators, to not hold on to this notion that somehow we can teach, but the feelings are not important. There's the cognition and then there's emotion. So I want to play with something here with that. And that is for everyone to, should we keep the slide up? Mamiko, is there no, okay. So we won't go into a breakout room. But I think we could look at one picture, Mamiko, okay? For all of us.
Sure,
And,
yes.
and then I can lead people through what we'll do. All right, so we'll look at a picture. I'm improvising now to figure out how to we'll do this with the whole group. So we'll look at this picture and then give some expression. I know how we can do it. Take a look at the picture. What do you feel when you see this picture? And just note that. And then why don't we take the picture down now, Mamiko? And let's just say, everybody, you know, say what this makes you feel, this picture, okay? You could put it in the chat or say it. And because we're listening so well to each other, if two people say it at the same time, that's fine. And then we'll wait and we'll listen and we'll, right? So people can shout out their response.
Something like
Oh, that.
Wow.
have co-creation, we have community, we have creating space, communication, you know, communication, impress, appreciation, happiness, emotions, community, and you know, all the words that we shared, all the emotions, all the, you know, expressions we shared today.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And you'll get that to us all. It's so wonderful.
Yes, and I will take more words from the chat after this workshop, and I'll, you know, when I'm done, I will share this poster with you, with all of you.
Struglinia. I love that. That's exactly how I feel. Struglinia.
So it seems like the reflection we do for just the last few minutes of our workshop, we could do here, Hikaru, Mamiko. Yeah, so maybe you could consider each one and put in, are we thinking about 3 words in the chat? But you can put more because we'll turn it into 3 words. So where does this take you? I love that question. Like, think for a moment, where does this whole experience take you? If that question makes sense, if not, ask us. Like, where are you? Yeah.
If we want to meet again, we can. So our Global Play Brigade Educator Salon is going to be held on every second Thursday. So which is next one is going to be coming up in 2 weeks or something. So February 8th, Thursday at 9 p.m. Japan time, which is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a little early, but feasible, I think. And it's 9 a.m. in Argentina and 8 p.m. in Singapore and 5:30 p.m. in India, right? So check it out. So bring your camera, smartphone. Here's a QR code. So you can just, take the website and then just register yourself right now. So you can just meet us again.
And we have it in the chat too, right?
Yep.
And for that meeting, we're going to try to see how many people from the Yes and Higher Education Network can come to that meeting. So it'll be our first gathering after this workshop together, and would love to have anybody else who can
Yeah,
come there, and
love to
we'll
have everyone
we'll
from
see where we
here.
want to go from there, and including where people started to write where you might take this in your work, in your life, that we want to be of support and get support for ourselves and be of support to take projects further. So that would be great.
And YAHE, yes, and higher education too. You have some invitation.
Yes. Do you have, who's putting that up? Mamiko, did you
Pooja
have
is
those
putting
links?
that up.
In the chat.
Pooja is putting that
Pooja.
up.
Yeah. There's two of them I want to
the
show
chat.
you. Okay, so Yes and Higher Ed Network, we call it YAHE for short. Sometimes, but I like saying Yes and Higher Ed Network. And here's the link. You can read more about it here. And then also there should be a link too, which I can go get, to an online group called Creating Our Mental Health through the Eastside Institute. I can go run and get the I'm gonna run and get the link.
So YAHE meets on the third Friday, US New York time, or the third Saturday, Asia, Australia time, every month. So it's a third Friday. The link, there's an email address that if you send an email to, we will send you the invitation to the next meeting. And just because it says higher ed doesn't mean it's only higher ed. It is open to, and we have people teaching at every single level. And it's a wonderful conversation about using play, performance, and improv in our work as educators.
Beautiful.
And it's also about creating, it's also about creating conversations among us, right? Creating that community and supportive environment among us.
So I will be sending.
I'm so sorry, Hikaru, I keep making a mistake. I'm really sorry, but I just wanted to say what this was. Creating Our Mental Health is an online monthly conversation that people have. They come in from all over the world. And it's a way to create a group there together that's supportive of all different kinds of things that people are going through. And it's amazing how it works. You can stop in one time, you can come every month. But it's really worth sharing with people who would like to get some emotional support and might not have access to other things, or people who do have access and want to create this international environment.